I'm coming to you next, but I've got to go over to this guy. I'm going left, right. See what I'm trying to do?
James with Moana Movie Podcast. With Uncharted being as big as it was as far as video game franchise, and then for the fans finally being satisfied with the movie adaptation, can you speak to voicing Nathan Drake and then just appearing in the film, that transition? Because at one point the fans wanted the film probably 10 years prior to when it released, hoping you would play the role that you voiced. So what was that like?
You know, truth is, understanding the business of Hollywood was never going to happen.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And I'm very happy with what they did. Yeah, we finished the first one, and I think Hugh Jackman, they were talking about Hugh Jackman at some point doing all this stuff. And, you know, you're talking about movies are made. The Uncharted movie made money before it ever shot a frame of film. It's foreign financing. For those of you who know, it's a very complicated but very simple formula. You get Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, that thing is back financed and done, and they're putting money in their pocket. Now all they have to do is go shoot it. Then there's then they sell tickets and Netflix. They go to Netflix and all that stuff after. But that's gravy. It's all back financed, and you need a name that people know. If they made the Uncharted movie with Nolan North, all the gamers would come out and see it, but people, first of all, it would never get financed. And I'm not trying to knock myself. I'm good at what I do. I know it's not about talent. It's about name, and that's fine. You know, and I was glad that they finally got it up on their feet. What made me really happy is after they went through all those machinations of, oh, we got to get, you know, we want to, maybe it's Hugh Jackman, or maybe it's, you know, Chris Pine. I thought Chris Pine was good. I did J.J. Abrams was a fan of Uncharted, and he put me in the Star Trek movie. And, you know, just up to the side, it was, you know, but, you know, I remember in a makeup time, I was sitting with Chris Pine, and I said, you know, if you ever get that offer, you should think about it, because he looked the part, he had that kind of swagger to him. We're about the same height. I was like, this could be cool. But what I think they did that was interesting is, and people at Sony told me this, and Ari Arad told me, he said, first of all, video games are very tough to make films out of. They don't really do all that well, except like the horror ones. Because when you take, you know, if you're playing Uncharted, you're Nathan Drake, not me. You're Nathan Drake. You're Nathan Drake. You know, you're on the stick. You are in it. Now you got to sit there for 2 hours and watch somebody else that doesn't sound like the guy you know doing things. It's a passive experience. They said, we don't want to, you know, intrude on what you guys did with those games, but where was Drake in his 20s? Well, that automatically rules any chance of me doing it. But, you know, then they go and get arguably one of the biggest film stars in the world, who's a fan of the thing. You know, his brothers played. He's athletic. He's unbelievably athletic. I mean, he can do it. And, you know, and then they can put their own stamp on it. And, you know, then do scenes like falling out of the plane as an homage to the game. And I thought they did a good job with it. I felt like they had to edit it down to fit a time constraint the studio probably wanted. So there were parts of it I thought were a little rushed. But I thought Mark did a great job. I mean, I love the fact that Sully had a cat. I think that's funny. it's their own little thing. And it's a cat. You know, it's like that. You know, I love that little. And then, you know, he doesn't have a mustache. And at the end, he has the mustache. And yeah, I thought it was really well done. And it leads to the opportunity for more films that they want to do. Will that happen? You know, who knows? But and to be part of it, I was honored to be part of it. Of course, it was October 2020, middle of the pandemic. They're like, would you mind if we flew you to Barcelona, Spain by Friday? I said, you could fly me to Topeka, Kansas by Friday. I'm stuck in my house. So, and then I sat in a hotel room in quarantine in Barcelona. I'm like, this looks like a pretty city. Had my nose swabbed at least 40 times during that 4 or 5 days I was there. But it was a great experience, and yeah, I think you know they did a really nice job with it. I hope they make more. Yeah. Yes.
This will be the last question, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Let me go.
real quick, I'm Joy with Moana Podcast. I was gonna ask the exact question he just asked, except I was gonna say that I am a huge fan of the Uncharted series and Nathan Drake was one of my first video game loves, and so it's surreal for me to be sitting here with you, and I did sign the petition for you to be in the movie back in the day, so huge fan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a blast playing Nathan Drake, and it's so much my personality. So I can't climb like that though. Yeah.